Just want to test this out. Okay, well, let's pray. Heads bowed, eyes closed, and we will get started today. Let's see if I can find something fun to share.
You have a joke?
Okay, let's pray. And then, real quick before we pray though, we'll get started here in just a minute. Gianni, welcome. Thank you for letting me know you can hear. You're on it. That's awesome. Welcome, Sydney. I know we have a new student, so let's make sure she feels welcome today. Let's show her how we're supposed to act in class every day, okay? Let's remember the rules. So I guess some of you have gotten a little complacent. We're shouting out, speaking out without raising our hand. We know we're not supposed to be doing that. So let's make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So we show someone who's new to our school how we're supposed to act in class, okay? Remember, we're in 6th grade, so let's act like 6th graders. Remember, let's talk about how Mrs. Rule talked about how we sit in class, how we learn, how we listen, okay? Trying to help you with life skills so that when you go into junior high and high school, you can be successful. This is a different age group right here because you guys are kind of considered middle school, right? So you're not little kids anymore. So all the little kid stuff we used to do, we shouldn't do that anymore, right? We're big kids now. We should learn how to sit and listen and learn and get our homework in and homework done. So let's remember these things. Let's make sure that our area is clean, our binders are leaning up against our desk, not laying on the floor. That way if someone were to come in, they could walk around the classroom and not trip. Make sure we only have one water bottle at our desk. It's not laying down, it's sitting up. Anything that's extra, we don't need to have hats or gloves or anything like that at our desk. All of those things can be in our cubbies. Let's make sure we're keeping our cubbies clean. I've been in here 2 weeks in a row on Sunday afternoon on my day off, cleaning up after you guys. That's not fair for my family, okay? I work Monday through Friday. I have Saturday and Sunday off with my family. I shouldn't have to spend 2 hours on a Sunday afternoon in here away from my family cleaning up. Okay, so let's remember to wipe down our desk at the end of the day. Let's remember to put our trash in the trash can, take the trash out. Let's remember to put our stuff in our cubby nice and neatly, nice and stacked. So those are some reminders, okay? I know you guys are, once again, you're in this awkward stage where you're like, I don't know if I'm a kid or an adult, because you're right in the middle. Okay, so let's err on the side of maturity, right? We want to act mature. We want to start learning how to be mature. So let me help you with that, okay? All right, I will share a couple of Thanksgiving jokes, and then we'll pray and get started. What key has legs and can't open a door? A turkey. Good job. What do you call a running turkey? Close. Fast food. What? The last one for all of you computer geeks. This will be the last one before we pray. What did the turkey say to the computer?
I don't want to go on my computer.
Google, Google. Google, Google. Instead of gobble, gobble. Okay, one more. What kind of weather does a turkey like?
Hot weather.
Foul weather. Do you get it? Do you guys know that a turkey is considered fowl, which means birds? Okay. All right, some holiday humor. Hopefully this month you guys are taking some time to think about what you're thankful for. That's what Thanksgiving is all about. Of course, we get to eat turkey and have pie and watch football, but hopefully it's more than just turkey and pie and football. Hopefully we're taking time to really think about the things that we are thankful for. The fact that you have a family, that you have a nice home, that you have cars. Someone brought you here today. You did not have to walk here. You're not in a homeless shelter. You're here in a nice school. You're at a Christian school. You're able to be in school in person. There's so many things to be thankful for. If your family is healthy, you have that to be thankful for. So use this month. I like to try to think about one thing every day in November that I'm thankful for. It'll make you, when you start to complain, we really have nothing to complain about when we start to think about all the things we have to be thankful for. So it helps you to remember what God wants us to be. He wants us to always be giving thanksgiving, okay? Let's start with the word prayer. Heads bowed, eyes closed. Dear Jesus, thank you for this day. Lord, thank you for your blessings. Lord, thank you for the month of November. Lord, I pray each student would just take time this month to be thankful and grateful. Lord, I pray that they would take time to express that to their mom and their dad and their grandma or their grandpa. Lord, they would just say, thank you for all that you do for me. Thank you for the clothes. Thank you for the nice house. Thank you for putting me in this Christian school. Lord, I pray that you would just help them to learn to be grateful and thankful. Lord, I know it means so much to me as a mom when my kids express thankfulness. And Lord, I pray that you would help these students to work on that and be thankful. Lord, I pray you'd help them to just work on maturity, Lord, in this middle school age, Lord, that they would work on Lord, just how to listen, how to learn, how to work hard. God, that you help them to learn their grammar this year and help us to do our very best. In your name I pray. Amen. All right, guys, I want you to open your books up to page 57 in your grammar. Get there quickly, please. Page 57. Page 57 in language. Does not require talking. You can do it very quietly. Okay, last week, girls that are just kind of newer, Peyton and Sydney, we have, yeah, you're in the right book. So go to page 57, right here. So we did this one on Friday. We're going to work on some of these down here, okay? So we've been working on the last week punctuation. We learned about commas. We've learned about capitalization. We always start off our sentences with a capital letter. By the way, some of you on your spelling test, when you wrote your sentence, I had to mark off for that. Some of you did not start your sentence on your spelling test with a capital letter. Every time we write a sentence, it starts with a what, class? Capital letter. Whenever we write the word I had to take off some points for some of you on your spelling test for this. We wrote the word I like this. Remember, when we're talking about I, myself, I is a name. So what do we always do to the word I? We always capitalize it. Okay, that's my cursive I for those of you that are new and haven't learned cursive yet. My print I, but I, the word I always needs to be capitalized. We talked about words that need to be capitalized, like names. Names of people. Shane, Tristan. Okay, those are proper nouns. They need to be capitalized. Boy is a common noun. We do not need to capitalize it. Names of places, like Disneyland, needs to be capitalized. If I said amusement park, that's a common noun. If I said we went to the park, that's a common noun. We don't need to capitalize it. But if I said we went to Wildwood Park, then I would need to capitalize it because it is the particular name of that park, okay? So names of persons, names of places, names of things, okay? I have a cute, cuddly little white fluffy dog. And so if I said I love to cuddle with my dog, dog is a common noun. I would not capitalize it. But if I said I wanted to cuddle with Scarlet, my little fluffy dog, Scarlet would be capitalized because it is the name of my dog. It is the name of a thing, okay? So remember those things that we capitalize. We talked about capitalizing initials, like D.R. Horton. Okay, we would capitalize D and R. It's initials of someone's name. We would capitalize abbreviations like YMCA. Okay, we capitalize those. So don't forget all of these things that we would capitalize. Then we talked about commas. Someone raise your hand and tell me, when would we use a comma? What's one of our rules? Yes, sir. And a list of things. We need to have the mask on. Okay, then we need to go get another one. Go. Take Adam with you. Yes. Boys, you need to go quickly, and we need to not play with it so we don't break it anymore. After what? Good. Okay, so we're going to use commas in a series of things. I like apples, oranges, and bananas. We're going to use it after the dates. Okay. January 12th, comma, 1984, comma. We would use commas. Cameron, you need to have your mask on. Yes. When else will we use commas?
the parenthetical phrase.
Good. We talked about this word parenthetical phrase, okay? All that word parenthetical phrase means is it's not essential. It's not important. I can take it out of the sentence and it doesn't change the sentence. Like, for example, if I said, Olive, in fact, got 100% on her spelling test. What is my parenthetical phrase in that sentence? Liviana? In fact. Is it very important to the sentence? Does it change my thought if I take it out? No, then it would just be Olive got 100% on her spelling test. That in fact is non-essential. I can take it out. That's why I would surround it with commas, because it shows me it's not essential, meaning it can come out and it doesn't change the subject or the sentence. So non-essential, what else do we put commas around or use commas with? Good. When we're directly talking to someone. Shane, how was your weekend? Good. So I was directly talking to who? Shane. So I would write that out. Shane, comma, how was your weekend? So when we're directly addressing someone, we would use a comma. Any other? Can you guys remember anything else when we would use a comma in a sentence? Peyton, pay attention, please. You will have to take the next test, okay? Yes.
After the word like no and yes.
Okay, those are like the parenthetical ones. No, yes. But yeah, we would use commas after those words. Okay? Anything else? How about when joining two sentences? Remember when we have two simple sentences and we join it with a comma and a what? Conjunction. So don't forget about that. So then after we learned about commas, we also introduced quotation marks. And this is what we were learning last week. Okay? Now I have some sentences on the board. We're going to do the first two together and then I'm going to call two of you up to come put the correct marks up here. Okay? Let's look at this first sentence. So read it nice and loud for me. Landon, once you put your mask up.
Where he asked, is the party tomorrow?
Read it one more time.
Where he asked, is the party tomorrow?
What is he asking?
When is the party?
He's asking when is the party? Read it a little bit differently, Shane, for me. Landon read it like this. Where, he asked, is the party tomorrow? Okay, but I have a comma here. What do these commas tell us I need to do when I'm reading something?
Well, like, you don't need to read it?
I need to take a little bit of a breath, right? A comma means pause, okay? So where, he asked, is the party tomorrow? Does that make it sound a little bit different? Where, he asked, is the party tomorrow? So what is he asking, class? Where is the party tomorrow? So where do I need to put my quotation marks? Who can tell me? Shane?
Where?
Okay, around where? Okay, is that it? Is that all he's asking is where? Is the party tomorrow? This is his entire statement. Okay, and let me ask this. Do I put the end quotes after or before this question mark? Where, he asked, is the party tomorrow? Olive? After? Who thinks they go after? Who thinks they go before? Tristan, why do you think they go before?
Oh, I'm after.
So everyone thinks they go after? Do they go before?
Yeah. Are you sure?
Or do they go after? Someone tell me why. Someone tell me what you think and why you're getting that answer. Josiah?
Because is the party tomorrow? It is his words. That's the quote, and the question mark is ending it. So it would be.
Let me ask you this, class. I think you're trying to get there. Is the whole sentence a question or just what he's quoting? just what he's quoting. So they do go outside of it. The question mark has to go in the quotes here because it's just what he's saying that is the question, okay? Remember that, okay, this little letter here. Should I capitalize this, yes or no?
No.
No. Because remember, we only capitalize the first word of a quote. If a quote is interrupted, we do not have to capitalize it when it continues, okay? The only time this would be continued if it's like the word I, or capitalized if it's the word I, or a word that's already capitalized. Okay, very good. Let's look at the next one. Now, in the second one, we need to add our commas and our quotation marks. Who can read the sentence for me? Nice and loud, Josiah. Borrow.
Car for my sister, so I can go to my.
I know you're still learning cursive a little bit, aren't you? I need to borrow your car, my sister said, so I can go to my appointment. Who can raise your hand and tell me first, where would we put the commas in here? Where do the commas go? Cameron, can you tell me where the commas would go? I need to borrow your car, my sister said, so I can go to my appointment. Okay, we're going to insert one here. And there's one more. I need to borrow your car, my sister said, so I can go to my appointment. Can someone help him out? Peyton, what do you think? Where does the second one go? After said. Okay. The reason why here, Cameron, is my sister said is what's separating her quote, right? Here's the first part of what she's saying. Here's the second part of what she's saying. We put commas to separate what she's saying, okay? So, now where would I put my quotation marks in? Josiah, where'd my first set of quotation marks go? I need to borrow your car. Okay. Now, quick question, class. Would the quotation marks go in front of the comma or behind the comma? Okay. And where did my second set of quotation marks go? Liviana? So I can go to my appointment. Very good. Okay, remember that when this quote is interrupted, we need to put our commas in. We need to put our quotation marks around both parts. Okay, now let's have Olive, why don't you come put in commas and quotation marks in this sentence. The woman said, "I'm tired." Class stand. Thank you. You may be seated. Who would like to do the second bottom sentence for me? Josiah, come on up. All done? The rabbit, the man complained, is always eating my plants. Pay attention, Tristan. Commas and quotation marks. Okay, let's check them and see if they did them correctly. Thank you, Josiah. Thank you, Olive. The woman said what, class? I'm tired. She put in her comma after said. That makes us realize that this is going to be her quote. I'm tired, okay? She put her beginning quote and her end quote Realize she put her end quotes here after the period. Remember, the periods and the commas go inside, okay? Question marks and exclamation points depend on whether the whole sentence is showing that emotion or just the quote. And then remember, semicolons and colons always go outside of the quotation marks. Okay, here we go. The rabbit, the man complained, is always eating my plants. He has quotation marks around the rabbit, comma, another comma, is always eating my plants. He has his quotation marks around the rest of his quote there. Okay, now let's look at page 57. We did think C Friday. So let's look at think D. Think D says, on notebook paper, change the following indirect quotations to direct quotations. Capitalize and punctuate them correctly. We're not going to do this on notebook paper, but I want to see if we can do it orally, okay? Number 1, Mark said that he is always willing to do what he can. Mark said that he is always willing to do what he can. How can we take this indirect quotation and make it into a direct quotation? Who can do this for me? Liviana? Okay, but we have to change the wording, because did Mark say, was his direct quote, that he is always willing to do what he can? Is that what Mark is actually saying? So how would we change that into a direct quote? What is it that Mark is actually saying? Tristan, can you help her out? No, you're on the right track though. We're going to start with Mark said, comma, and what is it that Mark is saying? The sentence says Mark said that he is always willing to do what he can. So if Mark's saying that about himself, how would he say that? Tony? Liviana? Very good. He would say, I am always willing to do what I can. Remember that we are changing this from an indirect quote to a direct quote, okay? So Mark, the sentence is, Mark said that he is always willing to do what he can, okay? That's an indirect quote. That'd be like me saying, Adam said that he had a great birthday party. Did Adam actually say he had a great birthday party? No, Adam said, I had a great birthday party. So we're taking an indirect quote and we're changing it into where it would be a direct quote. It's actually their actual dialogue. It's what they actually said. So let's look at number 2 now. We saw how we did number 1. This is how we would have rewritten it. Now let's look at number 2. The people yelled that they wanted a leader with integrity. The people yelled that they wanted a leader with integrity. Are the people out there yelling that we want a leader with integrity? That we want a leader with integrity? Is that what they're actually yelling? No. So how would we change this into a direct quote? What are the people actually saying? Okay? The people yelled what? What are the people yelling here? Tony, what do you think? Is that what they're yelling? They want a people with integrity, or a leader with integrity. Are they saying they? Imagine this, Tony. If I said the 6th grade class is saying they want to eat lunch now. Are the 6th grade class all yelling, they want to eat lunch now, they want to eat lunch now, they want to eat lunch now? How would you say that? You wouldn't say they if you're talking about your class. You would say we. So the people yelled, we want a leader with integrity. You guys getting it? Is it starting to make sense?
Yes.
End quote, okay? You got to be able to analyze what is the sentence telling me that they're actually saying here. Number 3, the teacher asked Tommy to please take a message to the office. Okay, so Gavin, did the teacher say to the student to please take a message to the office? Is that what the teacher actually said? So what would the teacher say? The teacher asked Tommy? Good. The teacher asked Tommy, please take this message to the office. You guys get it? See how we're taking something that's indirect and we're making it direct. Let's look at the last one, number 4. Mom said that lunch is ready. Now, I have never gone up to my kids and said, that lunch is ready. So what is Mom actually saying here? Liviana? Mom said, lunch is ready. Very good. All right, let's look at Remember E. This is review, okay? So this should only take a minute. Write the letter of the correct choice in the blank. Get your pencils out and ready to go. If neither is correct, write what? What? N. So you're writing A or B, or if neither are correct, you're writing N. Let's look at letter A, or number 1. A new apartment building. A new, comma, apartment building. Or letter B, a new apartment building, or neither. Who's got the answer? Which one is correctly punctuated? Gavin? Letter A. How many of you think it's letter A? How many of you think it's letter B? How many think it's letter N? Okay, if you had your hands up for letter B, you are correct. We do not need a comma between new and apartment because apartment is telling us what kind of building. So it's not, if it said like new shiny ring, then we would have a comma between new and shiny. But because apartment is actually telling us the kind of building, we do not need a comma between. Number 2, was that theirs? Theirs, T-H-E-I-R apostrophe S. Or letter B, was that theirs with an apostrophe at the end? Or neither? Tony, what do you think? Neither. How should it be spelled? Theirs. Class, can we spell it together? E-I-R-S. This is already possessive, this form of their. This is talking about their book. Remember, we have 2 kinds of their. We have T-H-E-R-E talking about over there, and then we have T-H-E-I-R talking about their book. So because this is already the possessive form, we do not need an apostrophe at all. Okay? We just add the S. So good job to those of you who said N. Number 3, Sarah's grandmother, capital G, grandmother. Sarah's grandmother, little g, or, and notice the apostrophe, okay, or neither. Who thinks A? Raise your hand. Who thinks B? Raise your hand. Who thinks N? Raise your hand. Okay. Gavin, why do you think it's N? What number 3? Is letter B? Is letter A? How many of you think it's letter A still for number 3? Okay, how many of you think it's letter B? How many think it's letter N? Okay, I'm going to tell you what it is. It is actually letter N, and here's why, okay? Sarah's, there's only one Sarah, right? There's not 2 Sarah's grandmothers. It's only one Sarah. It's her grandmother. So one Sarah, that's plural. This makes it possessive. It's her grandmother, but grandmother should not be capitalized because in this sentence, she's not talking to grandmother. She's not saying, hi, grandmother, right? So it's the same rule as like mom, okay? If I said I went to the store with my mom, little m, right? But if I said, Mom, can I go to the store? Now I'm talking to her. It's her name. Now I capitalize it. So here, this one was a little bit tricky because you had to look at this part, but you also had to look at this part. So it should have been the letter N. So those of you, those couple that put N, good job. All right, number 4. The President of the United States. A, B, or N? The President of the United States. A, B, or N? How many of you think A? How many of you think B? How many of you think N? Okay, it should be the letter A. And the reason is we always capitalize present when we're talking about the President of the what? United States. We always capitalize present when we're talking about the President of the United States. Yes, ma'am?
But the is not capitalized.
No, because this isn't a sentence. It's just a phrase. That's why. Yeah. Okay, go ahead and turn over to page 58. Today we're going to talk about another time we would use quotation marks. We would use quotation marks when we're talking about titles of works. Okay, let's look in the blue box at the top. You see that teal little circular marker there that has the seashells on it? It says quotation marks rule number 2. In blue bolded print, it gives us rule number 2. Let's read it together nice and loud. Ready, begin. Use quotation marks. Hold on, let's stop. Make sure everyone's reading with me. Tristan, you ready? The blue writing, here we go. Ready, begin. Use quotation marks to enclose titles of short stories, short poems, songs, chapters, articles, and other parts of books or magazine. Sometimes this can get tricky because we sometimes can't remember when do we italicize, when do we underline, and when do we use quotation marks. So the rule with the quotation mark is when it is part of something or it is small. And I'm making these big letters for some odd reason. I should have made them small letters to help you remember. Okay. When we have the name of a big book or a big novel, we're not going to put quotation marks around it. We're going to underline it, or if we're typing it out on our computer, we would italicize it. Okay? For example, your Of America book right here. I'll pull this out if I can. These are in here pretty good. Okay, if I was typing this out and saying we are reading the book of America in 6th grade, I would not put quotation marks around this name of this book. I would underline it if I was writing it. If I was typing it out, I would italicize it. Now, inside this book, there are lots of little stories. Okay, these are excerpts from this book. Right here I have this short story, A Father's Prayer. So if I was saying I am reading a father's prayer out of the Book of America, then Father's Prayer is considered a short story. It's part of a big book. It's small. It's a small story. So I would put quotation marks around that, okay? So the key of when you know to use quotation marks instead of underlining is when it's something that's part of something or it's smaller. You'll notice there it says short stories, short poems, songs, chapters, like chapters in a book, okay? Articles, the name of a newspaper. Would we underline that or would we use quotation marks? The name of a newspaper, like the New York Times. What do you think we would do? Underline or quotation marks? Underline. It's the name of the whole newspaper. But if I gave you an article out of it, let's talk about maybe it's the election results, okay? Then that article, we would put quotation marks around it, okay? So remember it's part of something that's bigger. We would use quotation marks. Magazines. Magazines are real small, okay? They're not like big novels or big books. So we would use quotation marks around those. They give examples there. Rip Van Winkle knew every morning the song Trust and Obey. Look in the tan box there. Look closely. Everyone read this together with me. Ready, begin. Use single quotation marks for an element with a quotation that also requires quotation marks. What does that mean? Okay, well, here is an example. What poem begins with the line, I shot an arrow into the air? Asked Bill. Okay, so here we have a quote. Bill is asking a question, right? So we have to put double quotes around his quotation. But then inside of what he's saying, he's mentioning something that also needs quotation marks. So when we have a quote that's within a quote, we need to use single quotation marks, okay? So for example, if I said, everyone's eyes up here, please. Well, okay. The teachers asked, can anyone stand and lead us in the song Amazing Grace? Okay, what is the teacher, we have a quote here, right? What is the teacher saying? Class? Okay, so the teacher is saying, can anyone stand and lead us in the song Amazing Grace? Okay, but there's something in this quote that also is supposed to have quotation marks around it. What is it? Amazing Grace. It's the name of a song. So we already have our double quotes here. So whenever we have something within a quote that needs also quotes, we're going to use a single quote. Okay, meaning instead of two, we just put one. Notice the single quote, because it's just going around the title of the song, goes in front of our question mark here. Okay, so we would have single quote, quotation mark, what is this called? Question mark. End of quotes. I had a brain freeze. Have you guys ever had a brain freeze? I just had one. And y'all did too, because no one could answer me. Alright, so they give you an example too in the yellow box. My sister likes the story Cinderella, Hannah said. The quote that she said, Hannah, is my sister likes the story Cinderella. But because Cinderella is a short story, they had to put single quotes also around Cinderella. And you'll notice that looks a little funny after the word Cinderella. Can you guys see that? Because they have a single quote, and then they have a double quote right after that. The only thing that's separating is a little tiny bit of space. So it almost looks like there's 3 quotation marks there, okay? But that's necessary when we're separating that name of that story within that quote. All right, let's practice this. Think A. It says add quotation marks to the following sentences. The first one is done for you. Number 1, C. Simmons once said, it is a great evil as well as a misfortune to be unable to utter a prompt and decide no. They have their quotation marks around the quote, and then they also have their single quote around the word no. Let's look at number 2. Lonely cowboys sometimes sing a song called The Colorado Trail. Where do we need to put quotation marks here? Who can raise their hand? Emmeline? Around what? Good, around the Colorado Trail. That's the name of the song. Go ahead and insert those quickly, okay? We're going to go quickly and make sure you're marking these as we go. You're going to put your beginning quotes before the word the and your end quotes after the word trail. Number 3, Emily Dickinson wrote the poem, There is no frigate like a book. Where would we put our quotation marks, Liviana? Good. That's the name of the poem. I've actually never read that poem. Number 4. Today in science class we studied chapter 4, the travels of some molecules. What do we put in quotation marks around, Gavin? We would not need to put it around chapter 4. We just need to put it around the title of chapter 4, which is the travels of some molecules. Okay? Before the word the and after the word molecules. Number 5, today's newspaper had an article entitled Making Music in Our Town. Landon, where would we put them? Are you on number 5? Today's newspaper had an article entitled Making Music in Our Town. Okay. You're going to put it around what the article is entitled. What is the article entitled? So we need to put quotation marks around making music in our town. The name of the article is what we want to put in quotation marks. Number 6. I think the story, The Ransom of Red Chief, is really funny, he exclaimed. Who can do this one? This one has double quotes. Who can handle it? Cameron? Tell me where we would put our double quotes first. I think the story, The Ransom of Red Chief, is really funny, he exclaimed. The what? Okay, that's the name of the story. So we would put, hold on though, because there's a quote first that one is in. Liviana, can you help him out? Good. Notice that he is exclaiming, I think the story, The Ransom of Red Chief, is really funny. So we need to have our double quotes before the word I and after the exclamation point by the word funny. That's his whole quote. That is what he is saying or exclaiming. Now we have the title of the story, The Ransom of Red Chief. So because this comes within a quote, we need single quotes. So remember, you're going to have just one line, one quote, and then your end quote around the title of that story. Okay? How many of you got that right on your paper? Okay. Number 7, did you say that will be $55? Asked the customer. This one also has double quotes. Did you say that will be $50? Asked the customer. Shane, can you help us with this one?
The double ones go did and after the question mark.
Good. So the double quotes go before the word did and after the word dollar, after the question mark, after the word dollar.
The one goes before that.
Okay, good. Single quote goes before the word that, and your other single quote goes where?
After question mark.
Not after the question mark.
Dollars.
Before the question mark. Yep, after the word dollars. So you should have double quote, did you say? Single quote, that will be $50. Single quote, question mark, double quote. Ask the customer. Number 8, did you know who wrote the poem The Snowfall? Asked the professor. This one also has double quotes. Tony? So we're going to put quotation marks around did you know who wrote the poem The Snowfall? That's our double quotes. And the end double quote goes after the question mark. There is a set of single quotes we need around what? The snowfall. Very good. The single quote, end single quote, will go before the question mark. Okay? And number 9, last one in this section. Hopefully we're writing all of these down in our books. I just finished reading the story, The Man of the Crowd by Edgar Allan Poe. This one only has one set of quotation marks. What would they go around? Sydney, can you give it a try? It does. Good job. The man of the crowd. Okay. Let's just do the odds on Think B. Okay, we're doing the exact same thing, adding quotation marks to the following sentences. Let's look at number 2. Jesus said, "Ye must be born again," asked the pastor. Where would we put our quotation marks here? What is Jesus saying, Adam? Actually, what is the pastor saying first? Jesus said, "You must be born again," said the pastor. What is the pastor saying here? Adam? What is being quoted? The pastor saying that? The pastor is only saying you must be born again? The pastor is saying, Jesus said, "You must be born again," said the pastor. Now what is Jesus saying here? What is the quote that Jesus is saying? Josiah? So here we need our single quote. Okay, notice the difference here. The pastor said the whole thing. The pastor quoted Jesus, right? The pastor said, Jesus said, "You must be born again." But then we need single quotes on Jesus' quote. Jesus said, "Ye must be born again." This is what Jesus said. Okay, so we have our single quote and then our double quotes here. Let's look at number 4. I want you guys to do 4. Go ahead and circle these numbers. 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Now I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Begin. Yes. No, the heater's, it's plenty warm in here. No, it's not cold, and you need to have your mask on. I'm not going to keep telling you, Cameron. I'm going to make you sit if you keep pulling it down. I'm going to make you sit at recess if you keep pulling your mask down. Peyton, sit correctly, okay? Please. Thank you. Quickly, Josiah. Work quickly. Landon, are you done? Okay. Let's focus up here, okay? Not out there. Cameron, you done? Okay, let's check number 4. What poem begins, "The snow had begun in the gloaming"? That's weird. Asked the tutor. You should have your quotation marks around everything the tutor asked. What poem begins, "The snow had begun in the gloaming"? So beginning quotes before the word what, end quotes after the question mark. And then we should also have a single quote before the word the, and after the word gloaming before the question mark. Okay, number 6. Colonel Blacker advised, "Put your trust in God, my boys, and keep your powder dry." What should we have quotation marks around, class? Shout it out if you know it. Read the whole thing, then we should have quotes around. Very good. We should have quotation marks around, "Put your trust in God, my boys, and keep your powder dry." There's only one set of quotation marks in that one. Number 8, Tiffany says that she does not like the song Camptown Races. What do we need quotation marks around, class? Good job, Tony. Camptown Races. I can't talk today. Number 10. The Star Spangled Banner was written by Francis Scott Key. What do we need quotation marks around, class? The Star Spangled Banner. These ones were easy. A lot of them were just single quotes, or one set of quotation marks anyways. Number 12. The highest learning is to be wise, said T.L. Haynes, and the greatest wisdom is to be good. What do we put quotation marks around, Olive? Good, and? Good. There's one quote here, but it's interrupted in the middle, so we need quotation marks around the highest learning is to be wise, and then again, before the word and, the greatest wisdom is to be good, end quote. All right, think C. Write the letter of the correct choice in the blank. Okay? Number 1. Did he say, please come back tomorrow? You'll notice a slight difference here. They have the quotation marks at the end before the question mark and then after the question mark. Which one would it be, A or B? Who thinks A? Who thinks B? Okay, some of you didn't vote. Tony, you didn't vote. Who thinks A? Did you look at it, Tony? Quotation marks before the question mark or after the question mark? Who thinks A? Let's try it again. Who thinks A? Raise your hand if you think A. How many of you think B? Okay. All of you are wrong. It is letter A, and here's why. Did he say? That is a what? That's a question. Is the quote a question? Please come back tomorrow. Is that a question? No. So the question is the whole sentence, not the quote. Remember, the question mark can either come before or after. Here, the whole sentence is what is the question, not the quotation. Please come back tomorrow is not a question. Okay, number 2. We sang The Old Rugged Cross. A or B, class? B. It's the name of a song, and letter A did not have any quotation marks. Number 3, Jim said that he enjoyed his vacation. Or Jim said that he enjoyed his vacation with quotation marks. Which one, A or B, class? How many of you think A? How many of you think B? Okay, if you said B, you're incorrect, and here's why. Did Jim say that he enjoyed his vacation? Is that his direct quotation here? No, this is an indirect quote. When it's indirect, we do not use quotation marks. If it would have said, Jim said, I enjoyed my vacation, then we would need quotation marks. Does everyone understand the difference? Okay. Number 4, chapter 2 is called The Way West. A or B, class? B. Good, Tristan. Because it's the name of a chapter. Number 5, did the choir sing Blessed Assurance? Asked Brooke. Look carefully at the usage of our quotation marks. Would it be A or B? Class? How many of you think A? How many of you think B? Those of you that said A are correct. Blessed assurance, that is not a question, so that first little quote, single quote, has to go before the question mark. And number 6, I will be glad, said Thomas, to stay here. A or B, class? A, good job, Tony. We need to end the quotes and then start them up again when it's interrupted. Number 7, the angel said, Christ is not here, he has risen. Adam, A or B? Letter B, very good. And number 8, she screamed, a mouse is in the room. A or B? Gavin? B, very good. All right, close your grammar books. Language, you do not have any language homework tonight. Pull out your spelling books quickly. Go to list number 9, I believe, or list 8. Which one are we on? List 9. Those of you that are on my altered list, there is no vocabulary this week. So we have to get 100%. It means we have more time to study our spelling. I did write week 8 and it is week 9, but this is your new list. Make sure we study it. Let's get 100% on it this week, please. Some of us did not study very well last week. Cameron, raise your hand if you have a question. Okay, go to list number 9. Those of you that are on the paper list, I want you to quietly be reading over these words to yourself while I review over the new list for those who are in the book. Okay, someone raise your hand and tell me something that you noticed about this list this week. Liviana? There are no vocabularies. Can I get a hallelujah? Hallelujah. I thought you guys might be excited about that. All you have this week is spelling, okay? But there are how many words to spell? 50. So they gave you a break. You don't have to memorize all the definitions this week, but you do have to learn how to spell more words. This is a spelling challenge. And this says words to conquer. These common words are frequently misspelled. So why do they give you this list? These are words that people in general commonly misspell. There are also words that 6th graders should know how and should be able to conquer and spell correctly. Okay, so let's go through number 1, and we're going to say quickly. Ready, begin. Absence. A-B-S-E-N-C-E. Absence. You know what people normally do on this one? They switch the S and the C. So make sure you know absence, S first and then your C at the end. Number 2, accept, A-C-C-E-P-T, accept. That means to accept something, to take it. The common mistake here is to spell it E-X-C-E-P-T, accept. Like I went except to the dollar store, okay? I went shopping except for this. Okay, so don't get confused with accept, meaning to take something, and accept, E-X-C-E-P-T. Number 3, everyone ready, begin. Accommodate, A-C-C-O-M-M-O-D-A-T-E, accommodate. Notice this word has 2 C's and 2 M's, and that's where people commonly misspell it. Number 4, ready, begin. Ache, A-C-H-E, ache, spell it again. A-C-H-E. Good. Put this down, please. Or are we going to sit at recess time? Number 5. Ready, begin. Achievement. A-C-H-I-E-V-E-M-E-N-T. Achievement. I before E on that one. Number 6. Acquaintance. A-C-Q-U-A-I-N-T-A-N-C-E. Acquaintance. Sometimes we don't hear that N. Quaint. Just remember that the word quaint is in there. Number 7, acquire. Everybody, A-C-Q-U-I-R-E. Acquire. Go ahead and do it again. I want to hear everybody. Ready, begin. Acquire. A-C-Q-U-I-R-E. Acquire. 6th grade, if I don't hear you, we'll go right into our lunchtime. Keep spelling. So if you want to go to lunch, then when I say spell it, spell it. Number 8, ready, begin. Advice. A-D-V-I-C-E. Advice. Number 9, advise. A-D-V-I-S-E. Advise. Number 10, affect. A-F-F-E-C-T. Affect. Number 11, all right. A-L-L-R-I-G-H-T. All right. That is 2 separate words. Okay. Commonly misspelled. People spell it A-L-R-I-G-H-T or they put it together. Okay. Yes, sir. Do you have a question? No? Okay. Number 12. Ready, begin. Ready, begin. Already. A-L-R-E-A-D-Y. Already. Number 13. Among. A-M-O-N-G. Among. Number 14. Analyze. A-N-A-L-Y-Z-E. Analyze. Number 15. Anxious. A-N-X-I-O-U-S. Anxious. Number 16. Argument. A-R-G-U-M-E-N-T. Argument. Number 17. Athlete. A-T-H-L-E-T-E. Athlete. Number 18. Awkward. A-W-K-W-A-R-D. Awkward. Number 19. Beautiful. 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 I know this is silly, but I always say beautiful. To this day, when I see my daughter and she's like, I colored this pretty flower for you, I'm like, that is beautiful. Beautiful. And I don't know why, but that helped me when I was a kid. I just said it funny like that, beautiful, and it helped me to remember it's B-E-A, and then beautiful, okay? So sometimes just making these silly little tricks in your head help you to remember how to spell these words, okay? Number 20, ready, begin. Beginning, B-E-G-I-N-N-I-N-G, beginning, 2 N's there. Number 21, belief, B-E-L-I-E-F, belief. Number 22, benefit, B-E-N-E-F-I-T, benefit. Number 23, calendar, C-A-L-E-N-D-A-R, calendar. Number 24, cancel, C-A-N-C-E-L, cancel. And number 25, we're going to stop here today. Captain, C-A-P-T-A-I-N, captain. Now, for your cursive writing today, here is what you are doing. You are writing words 1 through 25 in cursive. I will grade the cursive, and I will make sure they're spelled correctly. So when you're copying them, copy them correctly. You can get out a piece of paper, and you can start on that right now. The girls that are new, you can write it in print, okay? But you're writing words 1 through 25. We'll work on 26 through 50 tomorrow. Those of you that are in the paper list, go ahead and pull it out, and we'll go over that real quickly. Yes?
Is it okay to, like, write 26 through 50 for extra practice?
If you want to do for extra practice, that would be fine. Okay, those of you on the paper list while they're working, so those of you that are in the book, make sure you get a piece of paper out, start working on it now. It's homework, but you can get it done before, and then you won't have it for homework, okay? So get out a sheet of paper. Do you have a piece of paper like this, Sydney?
Yeah, it's in my
Okay, here, I'll just give you one of these, and then you may as well. You're welcome. And you're just going to write your name on this top line, and then you can start writing down. Okay? Okay, paper list. Number 1, we're going to do the same thing. Say, spell, say. Okay? Here we go. Point your fingers on number 1. Landon, I want to hear you. Emmeline and Cameron, I want to hear you. Or we will spend extra time at lunch going over spelling. Number 1, ready, begin. Faucet, F-A-U-C-E-T, faucet. Number 2, fierce. Say it again. Fierce, as in tough. That's what fierce means. Okay, ready, begin. F-I-E-R-C-E, fierce. Number 3, fireproof. That's 2 words put together, fire and proof. Let's spell it. Ready, begin. F-I-R-E-P-R-O-O-F, fireproof. Number 4, following. F-O-L-L-O-W-I-N-G, following. Number 5, forgetting. Forgetting, spell it. F-O-R-G-E-T-T-I-N-G, forgetting. There are 2 T's in forgetting, okay? Number 6, forgiveness. Say it again. Forgiveness. F-O-R-G-I-V-E-N-E-S-S, forgiveness. Here you have the word for, and then give, and then your suffix ness, N-E-S-S. If you break it down, it's real easy to learn how to spell it. Number 7, ready, begin. Fossil, F-O-S-S-I-L, fossil. Number 8, freight, F-R-E-I-G-H-T, freight. Thank you, class. You may be seated. Thank you. Number 9, ready, begin. Frighten, F-R-I-G-H-T-E-N, frighten. And number 10, last one is fuel, F-U-E-L, fuel. Study, study, study. Your words this week, those of you in the paper group, okay? I want to see us do well in our spelling. I'm giving you a break from vocab, but I want to see you ace the way we spell these words. We have to study them every night a little bit. We're not going to do well. We can't wait until the last minute. We don't have Wednesday this week because we have a holiday. So I want you to study a little bit every week. Your homework is writing these words. You only have 10, so you have to write them twice. They have 25, okay? Do you understand? Okay, so that is your homework. We're going to go ahead and pray for lunch, and then I'll allow you guys to get your lunches. And I'll start warming them up. If you'd like to keep working on your spelling homework, that way you can go home and not have any. You can get it done right here in class. I do have a worksheet, but I'm going to postpone that since grammar took a little bit longer. So all you have to do is write your spelling.